I love Neverwinter. I love the entire Neverwinter intellectual property. I first played Neverwinter Nights. I was a kid and I booted this game up. I saw Arabeth for the very first time being voiced by, I believe it was Wendy Lee, and I fell in love. This was a game that I probably ended up spending probably thousands of hours in. I love Neverwinter Nights too. Admittedly, I believe Neverwinter Nights, the original, the first one, was much better. Neverwinter is an MMO that I've probably poured several hundred hours into. I've always played it. I've played it for several dozen hours, and then I don't know, like something about it just kind of detaches me from the world and I grow a little bit bored. But I always come back. I feel like every year, every other year, I come back to this game because it looks great. The story's great. I love the world. I really enjoy the combat. This game, and I know some people might think it's pay to win. I'm sure I've never really seen too much of that myself, but that's because typically in MMOs I'm a free-to-play player. But I have always enjoyed my time in Neverwinter. This was one of the MMOs that I continue to like. But we're not here today to review the game. Instead, we're here today to take a look at how the game is doing, to see the frequency of updates the game is getting, its active population numbers, how frequently, how active the social media platforms are, whether the game continues to get updates in any capacity, and then ultimately get a gauge of whether or not the game is really even worth investing time into. Because let's be honest, you don't want to play a dead game. We're going to go ahead here and start this off taking a look at the Steam numbers. Now, this game is also released onto, I believe, PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, so this is a cross-platform game. There are probably several times more active players on the official, or that play via the official launcher, that also play on console. It does look like there are roughly 1,000 people playing every single day, though, via Steam, so there are probably several thousand, maybe tens of thousands of people logging in and playing across all major platforms every single day. This is actually very, very good. Tens of thousands of people playing an MMO every month is a fantastic number that is far from being dead, unless, of course, there are like 20 servers and then only realistically like 200 to 500 players per server. Looking at their Twitter page, they do have 100,000 followers, very big number. They had made a post on January 2nd, January 1st, December 31st. So they are actually very active on their Twitter, which is really good. The Twitter posts do not get many views, so like 1,000, 2,000 views on average, maybe 10, 20 likes. So there isn't much user engagement on their, at the very least, Twitter page, especially when you factor in the 100,000 followers. But I'm assuming those are mostly just people that followed years ago and then just never unfollowed. Their Facebook page has 438,000 likes and 424,000 followers, so I'm expecting this to be a lot more active. They look like they post the same things across each social platform. 19 comments, 16 likes, 9 likes, 15. Okay, so I'm seeing less interaction and less engagement on their Facebook, which is really surprising. Looking at their Reddit, there are 11 people online. One of those is me, at least one of those is a bot. 57,000 members total. There was one thread made a day ago, one thread made 19 hours ago, 15 hours ago, one day ago, it's 5, 6, 7 threads made in the last day alone. There are several dozen threads that have been made over the course of the last week. So the Reddit is actually relatively active as well. Much more active, I think, than the Facebook page or the Twitter page. So what I'm seeing from all of this is that there is a lot of community interaction and a lot of community engagement. The devs themselves also interact a lot with their community, which is really good to see in here. But let's take a look at their website, see the frequency of updates. Because if a game doesn't get any updates, then it's kind of dead. And if a game is dead, it's not worth playing. Before we go any further, I do want to take a moment here to thank all of my incredible patrons over on Patreon and my YouTube channel members who allow for me to continue to do dedicated videos like this every single day. You guys are absolutely phenomenal, and I genuinely cannot thank you all enough for the support. I'm taking a look at their dev blog section here. It looks as though there hasn't been a dev blog made since 2023. That's not good. Like, that is actually really, really scary. In terms of media, the middle of 2023. Okay, that is a little bit concerning. The community page, the middle of 2023. So we do have patch notes. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the patch notes. There are some patch notes that have been posted. This is good news because I was a little bit concerned here. I thought the website hadn't been updated in a year and a half. But here we go. We have, it looks as though there were 3 updates. I can't actually open these in a new tab. It won't let me. But there were 3 patch notes made in January 2024. It looks as though this added the campaign Light of Xarxis, Heroic Encounters, Wild Space, a Trial, Defense of the Moon Dancer. They planned future events as well, made alterations to several classes. It's actually a pretty big update. Wow. Yeah, that is actually very large. I'm kind of surprised. Unfortunately, I do have to scroll all the way down here to see what other updates were released. Although, let's just go ahead here and take a look at a couple. Let's just take a look at one from each month. There were 2 updates released in February. We're going to go ahead here and take a look at the February 27th update. The Astral Lockbox fixes, First Contact Battle Pass. Oh, so this one, this was a tiny update. It does not look like there was a March update. So they went 2 months without a single patch being released. There was one in April, on April 23rd, Adventures in Wild Space. A new campaign and an expanded adventure zone. That sounds great. An entirely new dungeon, new lockbox, new battle pass, new enhancement or enchantment rank increases and color updates, quality of life updates, content and environment updates, class changes, combat powers, artifact changes. So this was a big update. They took 2 months, but that was actually a very large update. It looks as though there were 4 major patches actually in May 2024. We're just gonna go ahead and check one here. All right, nice. This is a pretty decent update. Looks like May did actually have quite a number of extensive changes to the game, which is great to see. Let's take a look at June. There were 2 major updates. This one made some changes to the content environment, combats and powers for the mounts. It's actually a very small update. There were 3 updates released in July. This one is the Mountain of Flame. Feature highlights: Unvaulted Adventure Zone, Mount Hotna, Unvaulted Dungeon, new lockbox, new battle pass, quality of life update. So, okay, this is also a very big update. So here's what I'm gathering looking at this website and the game as a whole. There seem to be small patches that make small, regular alterations to the game. And then every several months, a major patch, which actually has a name, like Mountain of the Flame as listed here, is released. It doesn't look like there are any patches that were noteworthy in August, September, October. That's okay. There were a couple patches, period. And that, I mean, 1 patch each month for 3 months. And then we have the Module 30 update. New Unvaulted Adventure Zone, Unvaulted Dungeon, general updates, stat system updates, quality of life updates, a battle pass, companion list. So this is also a very big update. So, okay, that's good. No, I'm impressed. I'm gonna go on a limb here and assume that the next major update is gonna be processed on February, March, around there sometime. But from what I can see, this is actually a very updated game still. And it makes sense. When you look at the frequency of updates over on their social media, when you take a look at the concurrent players, the fact that there are still thousands of people playing at any point in the day, it is clear why they continue to update the game, because people are still playing and likely investing money, resources, and time into it, and that motivates them to continue to make content. Because if people were not playing the game, they would not have the funds to continue to push out new patches. What is this? November 19, 2024, Pirate Skyhold. This actually looks really cool. I didn't see this, but apparently it was also there for a November update that just didn't get listed here in the patch notes section. Yeah, I don't see any of that. Unless of course that was the Module 30 up. No, it was not. Okay, I don't know. Either way, is Neverwinter worth playing based off of this? Yes. Neverwinter as a game, if you disregard its stats, as a core game, 110% worth playing. Incredibly fun. Is Neverwinter continuing to be updated? Should you play it from the perspective of a new player that wants an active game? Yeah, there are tens of thousands of people still playing the game. It is still receiving regular updates, at least 3 major patches per year, which is very active for a free-to-play MMO. So yeah, 100%. This is actually Surprisingly, not at all what I expected to see. I expected it to be much more dead than this, but it's not, so I'm happy. You should definitely play the game. Hey, where do you think you're going? I see what you're doing there. I see you navigating on over, scrolling on over to that X button. Don't you dare. What I need you to do is take a moment and click one of the videos that are about to appear as soon as I'm done talking. And trust me, you're gonna wanna.